Hey guys, it's Rick back again. It's been a while since I've done a video. I've been trying to come up with some new ideas for when I'm filming. So I'm going to try something different with this one. I'm just hope to get, any responses or reaction if you like this style. But I've got a haul video for some stuff that I got in March and what I've gotten this month. And I'm going to go through all that with you. And I want you to let me know what you think. Alright guys, first up I've got The Greatest Show on Earth. This is a Charlton Heston movie that was considered to be a huge disappointment because it actually won the Academy Award when they thought High Noon was going to win. And people tend to forget that it swept the Golden Globes too, and this is a Cecil B. DeMille picture. They thought it'd be the last time he would win anything. So that may have played into it, but it's really just a good movie. This is a Paramount Presents line. When you open it up, they recreate the theatrical poster on the inside, which, trying to do something different. I give Paramount credit for that. This is a pickup from Universal. I have never seen all of the original Dune. If I did it, I don't remember much about it, bits and pieces. I'm in a movie group called Movie Fans United, and this is the movie we're talking about this month. You can find us on Facebook. Bruce Willis, it's terrible to hear what happened to him. And I was at a consignment store, or thrift store, where my mom works, and they tend to save me Blu-ray movies. And I picked this up for $1. I hadn't seen this one, and it ended up surprising me that I really enjoyed it. So I think that's a fun pickup. Now, I've got a lot of stuff I picked up as of recent that has been things that have been going out of print. So we'll start with this one. This is Count Yorga. This is the Twilight Time release. This was an MGM film. It originally had a double feature with Return of Count Yorga, the old movie, I believe it was Movie Maniacs line from MGM. But it's a vampire flick that I don't mind. I really enjoyed it. And originally it was supposed to have been a sex film. And the Robert Quarry here that plays Count Yorga talked him out of it and turned it into a vampire movie. This is The Return of Count Yorga. The sequel. Never seen this one. This is a Shout release, which is also discontinued. I got this off eBay, and it's still sealed, which is all kind of cool to find. So, looking forward to watching both of those on a double feature. From Kino, which is just in the midst of a big sale, I picked up a lot of stuff out of their While Supplies Last line. This is National Lampoon's Class Reunion. If you've ever seen Animal House, this was their follow-up movie. It's not bad. I remember seeing it years ago, and it went about like I thought it would. Decent film. The more I see Sterling Hayden in, the more I really enjoy his work. This is The Last Command. The Last Command is about the Alamo, and I'd never seen this particular version of the Alamo, and Sterling Hayden never disappoints, so gave that a shot. I love old movie serials, and I had this at one time and stupidly sold it. Went out of print, and I was able to find a copy before it went ridiculous. This is Daredevils, The Red Circle. This is considered to be the greatest serial ever made. And I did watch a couple of scenes from it, and it wasn't bad. I want to give it another shot. I don't... But, high-flying athletes after a criminal mastermind. They're circus performers. Gene Wilder. Great Gene Wilder. This is The Woman in Red. One of the first appearances of... oh, God. Why does her name escape me? Kelly LeBrock, which is right here. She, as everybody knows her from Weird Science, is Lisa. You got Gene Wilder in here. Pretty good comedy. Again, going out of print. Got it really, really cheap. Eye for an Eye, Chuck Norris. I've been in a Chuck Norris kick as of late, and I've started picking up some of his films. And this is one of the ones that was in their sale that I wanted to grab. It's a good movie. It's a shame it's going out of print. It's one of Chuck's best, I think. I watched this at a buddy of mine's house a couple of years ago and really enjoyed it. So if you like Chuck Norris, something you might want to grab from Kino. The Covered Wagon. I do love silent movies. And I'll probably say this for my silent film month in September, where I watch a ton of silent movies. But it's a Western epic, but it's only 90 minutes. But it's got all the Western tropes you would expect. And the cool thing about the wagons that you see here and the artwork, in the film, they actually borrowed real wagons. Some of those dating back many years, back to that time period, to use for props. Which is, I think that's pretty cool. Got another Chuck Norris movie here. The Hero and the Terror, which I remember seeing this in the 80s. I don't remember much about it right now, but it adds to the Chuck Norris collection. This one, Heartbreak Hotel. I have a friend that passed away this year, and he'd recommended a bunch of movies for me to watch. And I've been watching those things as I come across them, and he was a big Elvis fan, and had always recommended Heartbreak Hotel to me. So this was gonna be a fun little movie to watch, and thanks to my buddy Stacy for the recommendation. God bless him. Last but certainly not least of all the discontinued stuff is Mel Brooks' Life Stinks. I have every Mel Brooks movie now except for The Producers. And this one I thought I missed out on. I didn't want to pay $40, $50 online for it. Kino still had some in stock, so I grabbed it. Now let's talk about Olive Films. Olive Films just recently lost their MGM license. So things are fading away pretty quickly. Things are going out of print. People are paying crazy prices. I'll start with this one. This is The Deadliest Prey. This is for the slasher video line under Olive Films. It's a sequel to a movie that was only released on VHS, but did get an upgrade to Blu-ray, and it had done so well it prompted a sequel, which had the original actor right here, Ted Pryor, coming back to play the character. The first one's fun. It's a fun little cheesy action movie. This one's set pretty much the same way. A lot of the original actors return, and it's not bad. Breaker. Another Chuck Norris movie from Olive Films that I wanted to grab before it went out. And it's weird seeing Chuck Norris without a beard, but it's still a fun flick. The Perfect Weapon. Now this one I watched last night for the first time in about a year or two, and really liked it. Jeff Speakman has an amazing screen presence. In the background here, you got Professor Tanaka, who plays one of the main bad guys in it. I mean, a lot of people you're going to recognize in this movie, but just pay attention. Great action sequences, martial arts film. Another fun one that I'm glad to own. All right. Now, I have participated in the Kino sale, so let's get this. Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins. Now, I watched this so much in the 80s, and when they announced that it was coming out, and I didn't have to hunt for the Twilight Time release, I was incredibly happy about that. But it's a good action movie. Fred Ward, which a lot of people know in Tremors, this was supposed to have been the breakout role that they thought was going to make him into a really, really big star. He's got a big cult following, but he just never had that real big release, which is a shame. DC Cab. 80s film. You got Mr. T starring in it. It's a comedy set in DC with some of the worst cab drivers that you've ever seen. You can't make comedies like this anymore. You don't believe me? Watch it and find out why. Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Now, this one, I've got the artwork reversed. They do have a second artwork on here. Is a spoof of noir films. They took 19 movies, put Steve Martin around it, or put the films around it where he's interacting with characters. It's really well done how it's done. And made a movie out of it. I mean, you'll see all kinds of films and actors that you'll recognize, like Humphrey Bogart, Fred McMurray, Alan Ladd. It's a good film, which is a little over the top. It was Carl Reiner who directed its favorite film, and another one I'm glad to have. This one really surprised me. Miracle Beach. I've been watching a lot of movies on Tubi, and this is a 90s comedy. It's got Amy Dolenz, who's best known as being Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. That's his daughter, who plays a genie in this. He's found by a slacker named Dean Cameron, and he's just trying to get which is his dream girl, which is the girl we've got here on the front cover, and her name escapes me. It definitely feels like an 80s movie. A lot of skin in it. I found it to be fun. Bob Hope. The more Bob Hope movies I see, the more I like him. And this one I've had on my want list for about 4 or 5 years and just never have pulled the trigger on it. And it went on sale, and I figured, okay, let's get this. This is another noir film where he gets mixed up as a baby photographer who gets mistaken for a detective who wants to be a detective, and gets mixed up in a case. It's a pretty good flick. You got Peter Lorre's a bad guy in this. Lon Chaney Jr.'s in this as well, and you got Dorothy Lamour again. It was a really good movie. It really surprised me, and it's usually, most people, when you see this film, it's beat up to crap and back, and this is one of the best versions of it I've ever seen. They even restored the old Paramount logo. Tough Guys. Burt Lancaster and Kirk Douglas. I have not seen this in the 80s, but I remember really enjoying it as a kid. I wanted to give that a shot again. It's about some robbers that are trying to they get out of prison, and they don't like how the world's changed and decide to do what they know best. I have a lot of love for exploitation films, and this is the 13th in the series that's called Forbidden Fruit, which are all normally they're all double features, and you get these little short exploitation films like the 30s and 40s, and this is one called Damaged Lives and Damaged Goods. So I always find this stuff really fascinating. I don't know why I'm so hooked on them, but I enjoy them every time I watch them. The Secret of My Success. This was a big favorite of mine as a kid. I like Michael J. Fox from Teen Wolf, Back to the Future, and so forth and so on. This is a comedy that, it used to get a lot of play on television. Now you never see it. And it went on sale, so I grabbed it. Now, these next three, or next two, say the third one, I've seen bits and pieces of it, never the whole thing. But the other ones, I wanted to give a shot. This is called The Wildlife, which has a great cast from the 80s, like Chris Penn, Leah Thompson, Elin Mitchell-Smith, which was from Weird Science. You got Randy Quaid, Rick Moranis in his first on-screen role. It's supposed to be a spiritual successor to Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I'd never seen it, But so I wanted to give it a shot. Doesn't work, I always sell it. Where the Boys Are, from '84. Another teen comedy from the 80s. I have a fascination with these old comedies that, you know, again, you just can't make movies like this anymore. I mean, the way Hollywood does stuff, you're just never going to see this style of comedy. So anytime I see one of these old 80s comedies rear up on Blu-ray, I like grabbing them and seeing if they're worth it. I mean, they're usually just dumb fun. 3-star movies. I mean, with some rewatchability, but it's always neat to find one that I don't know anything about. I know this is a remake from a film in the 50s or 60s. And last but certainly not least is another one from the 80s called Gotcha, which has Anthony Edwards and a young Linda Florentino, who I don't remember too much about it. I remember it got played on HBO like crazy, and I remember seeing some of it, but I don't think I ever finished it. But it's something that I'm looking forward to watching. All right, well, that's all I've got for this month. Pickups that catches up everything from March and into April. As always, take care and go watch a movie.